Today is Twisted-Wonderland's Book 7 summary videos. Yay! It's gonna be the entire Book 7, so this will be a long one, but I hope you enjoy it.
The prefect dreams, Diasomnia Vice Housewarden Lilia is dropping out of school because he has grown too old and has lost his magic.
What? Oh yeah, this guy is the old guy. Okay. Let me see. His name was... who was it? Lilia? I think that's his name. Okay. So, Diasomnia Vice Housewarden Lilia. Oh.
Because he has grown too old and has lost his magic, Silver finds a ring and some...
Okay, so Silver finds a ring and some acorns, and I guess they're important for something. I hope. There's so much going on. I remember how fast this is.
Lilia says that the acorns are his most valuable possession. He gives the ring to Silver, saying that it belongs to him originally.
Wait, so... Oh yeah. Lilia discovered him as an infant? Oh yeah, because Silver was human. Okay. And this guy's really old, like super old, clearly.
As Silver had it with him when Lilia discovered him as an infant, the prefect meets Malleus.
Oh yeah, it was Malleus that was twisted from Maleficent. Okay, while I'm processing this, special thanks to my pay members on YouTube, you know who you are.
Who is struggling to process the concept of loneliness and his impending loss of Lilia, who has been with him since he was a child.
Okay, so let me get this straight. First he said that he's gonna leave the school, or what was it, retire or something? I don't know, maybe I'm thinking wrong because he's old. But he said he's gonna leave the school, and then his most precious items are acorns, and then he gives the ring to Silver, who was clearly raised by this guy and is also the nanny for Malleus. And now Malleus isn't sure how to process his loneliness. Okay.
Lilia has a farewell party. Silver goes to find Malleus, who has not come. Malleus has been thinking of a gift to give Lilia. He agrees to go to the party, but Silver begins to cry. Silver is upset that he will not be able to spend his life repaying Lilia for adopting him. Malleus is troubled.
Okay, so Lilia is technically Silver's parent, I guess, in that case. Okay, so that's fine. That makes sense. And so Malleus is trying to figure out what to gift him. Okay, got it.
He cannot help Lilia and Silver with their sorrow. Malleus gets an idea. His gift to Lilia and to everyone is to have them reborn into worlds where they will never experience sorrow or lose friends or family. Malleus overblots. The prefect dreams.
Why would you do that, Malleus? Is it because he can't stand the idea of loneliness? I'm just kind of confused how he suddenly overblots and tells them to just be reborn. I guess because the fact that Silver and Lilia are both emotional over him leaving. I don't even know anymore. I'm so confused. Wait a second. Yeah. He cannot help Lilia and Silver with their sorrow.
Malleus gets an idea. His gift
so that
to
must be the stress from that. Must be what made him overblot.
Or lose friends or family. Malleus overblots. The prefect dreams. The prefect and Grim meet Mickey in Mickey's dream. They get attacked by darkness. They're saved by Silver. Ortho has uploaded his consciousness over the school's Wi-Fi.
So suddenly Ortho is here. Okay. So everyone's asleep, probably because of Malleus.
A creature on Sage's island has been put to
and
sleep.
His overblotting.
Contacts Stux and his and Idia's parents, volunteering for the investigation of what has happened on the island and downloading himself to Stux. Ortho's mother designs him special gear for infiltrating Malleus's domain.
Hey, that was actually a really cool outfit just now. Let me go back. Yeah, that looks really cool.
Silver, Grim and the prefect arrive at a dream version of Diasomnia via Silver's unique magic. The dream belongs to Sebek. Malleus realizes that Silver is awake. Sebek and Silver fight. Sebek wakes up. Malleus says he will put them into a deeper...
No, Malleus, you don't put them all to sleep. That's not how it works. They're just gonna die eventually from not eating enough. I mean, I guess for some of them it doesn't really matter because they're probably not really needing food. Yeah. Let's just go with that.
They escape Sebek's dream and arrive in a new one. To be continued.
So this is like dream hopping, basically.
In Lilia's dream, Sebek's grandfather Bauer is there. Lilia's Fey troops are fighting back against human soldiers called Silver Owls who have invaded their lands.
Wait, okay, so now there's a war going on? What on earth is... Okay, let me go back. I need to look at that because I am so confused. Oh gosh. Okay, so Lilia's Fey troops are fighting back against human soldiers called Silver Owls who come from a foreign land. Invaded their lands and did a lot of stuff that clearly is bad.
And are trying to deliver a letter from their princess.
Trying to deliver a letter from their princess?
asking them to behave themselves in her country. At the stronghold, Lilia is injured in a trap. The stronghold is empty, with the silver owls besieging the princess now that Lilia is away. Princess Maleanor's castle has been surrounded by silver owls and people from other countries who want...
Okay, so the princess is Lilia's duty. Okay, so for a moment I thought it was the human princess, you know, the silver owl princess or whatever, but it seems like it's Malleus's, or I mean not Malleus, Lilia's side. Got it.
Want the land's resources for themselves. Henrik of the human side challenges Maleanor to a duel with the Dawn Knight. He wants the princess's magestone and her unborn child to use as a mount. The Dawn Knight...
Unborn child? What a horrible...
is hesitant, but Henrik reminds him that his father saved the Dawn Knight from the streets and Maleanor's magestone might cure his father's illness, which would please Leia, who is Henrik's sister, and the Dawn Knight's betrothed. Lilia's group arrives in Maleanor's palace. She sends Lilia away to save the egg while she distracts the human armies. Lilia asks what if he is to do if he loses both her and her missing husband, Ravern, as dragon eggs can only be hatched by their parents' magic and true love. Maleanor reveals that Lilia loved her as well as her husband, making it impossible for him to not love their child. Maleanor uses magic briars to drag Lilia out of the palace, and confronts the human armies. The Dawn Knight says it is Maleanor.
She was so cool. Wait, I just want to admire her design. Wow, she looks so good. Why is she so pretty? Oh, man, I can't believe she's probably dead, isn't she?
Not love their child. Maleanor uses magic briars to drag Lilia out of the palace and confronts the human armies. The Dawn Knight says it is Maleanor who has given him no choice but to fight. They battle. The Dawn Knight is blown into the path of Lilia's group. He rescues them. It is revealed that he is identical to Silver. Silver realizes that the Dawn Knight is his biological father. His emotional turmoil draws darkness to them, to which Silver succumbs, sinking into an abyss. In a flashback, Silver sees that after the Dawn Knight was killed, Leia fled Maleanor's palace, leaving their child, Silver, under the protection of fairies who put him to sleep until he was found by someone capable of loving him. Realizing that he has found the son of the man who killed the people he loved, Lilia is tempted to kill the infant, but doesn't. Instead, he presents him with the birthday gift of Knight's blessings, which changes his hair from gold to silver. Silver envisions himself in the body of the Dawn Knight and fights an illusion of dream Lilia, which distresses him to the point that he never wants to wake up again. But Lilia's voice calls him back. Sebek discovers Silver in the darkness and lectures him for daring to think he was hated, calling Silver's strength the result of Lilia's love. And Silver realizes he has been hearing Lilia's voice telling him to not give up. Silver decides to keep fighting to achieve his dream of becoming a knight who protects Lilia and Malleus.
I'm kind of glad that he at least has some senses. Obviously, because he was raised with love, so that probably helps that he's developed a sense of self where he can do what he needs to do without being swayed by ridiculous things, I suppose, in some ways. Just from what I've seen so far. I don't really know like the actual details, so maybe the details are kind of wrong in that sense, but that's what I see generally.
Fending off attacks from foreign mages. They reach the castle. Lilia realizes that Maleanor has been killed and he has failed to fulfill his promise. The Senate shames Lilia for failing the princess and Lilia resigns, leaving Malleus in the hands of the Senate. Darkness appears and Lilia embraces it, asking to join Maleanor and Ravern on the other side. Malleus refuses to hatch. The Queen and Bauer send Lilia to search for answers. Lilia travels the world, suffering from anti-fae prejudice. After 200 years, Malleus is near death.
And he got discriminated against that badly?
And Lilia is summoned back. He is the only one who can hear Malleus crying inside his egg, and realizes that Malleus is lonely after spending 200 years in isolation. With Lilia there, the egg begins to draw in all magic in the area and Lilia tells Malleus to take even his life. Malleus hatches. Silver realizes they have witnessed the happiest moment in Lilia's life, but when the Senate praises him as a hero, Lilia's dream begins to collapse because of the paradox it presents in contrast to the reality of what actually happened. Instead of being praised, he was met with accusations and abuse.
That's horrible.
Malleus reveals he had never been told that Lilia used his own life to save him. Malleus offers him a new dream. Silver vows to crush Malleus's blessing, which awakens Lilia. Lilia sends Silver and the rest of the group away while he distracts Malleus, and Silver uses his unique magic. But they are intercepted by Ortho, who takes them to Idia. To be continued.
Yay! Idia!
Ortho successfully infiltrates Malleus.
Okay, so from what I understand, so obviously Malleus's mom dies, and then Lilia gets depressed and doesn't think that he can raise or hatch Malleus, and so he leaves him to the Senate. But then the Senate wasn't doing a good job at all because he was kind of dying. And so they bring back Lilia, and then when he does manage to hatch Malleus, they blame him? What's wrong with them? They should fire all of them. They did a horrible job. They couldn't even hatch the freaking egg, and now they're blaming others? And then what? Thankfully, Lilia managed to find Silver, who was essentially kind of abandoned, I guess. If we think of it that way, I guess. I mean, obviously his dad's dead, but you know, he kind of was abandoned in some ways. But at least the fairies are nice enough to, you know, make sure he doesn't die until he's found by someone. And thankfully he was raised by Lilia, who clearly has a lot of love to share. Man, Lilia is so goated.
Malleus's domain from the outside. He is attacked by Malleus, but successfully escapes with the analysis data he came to collect. Stux deduces that destroying Malleus's domain could damage the minds of the people inside of it. They
Well, that
decide to
doesn't
make
sound
dream-based
good.
contact with those inside and convince them to confront Malleus from inside the realm instead. In Idia's dream, human Ortho is still alive and has enrolled at NRC's rival school Royal Sword Academy. Idia attends an opening ceremony as his first day as House Warden where nothing unusual occurs, which he describes as the ideal scenario. Robot Ortho makes contact with him from Stux, introducing himself as the autonomous AI that Idia created, but Idia does not remember him. Robot Ortho tells him to wake up and Idia's dream threatens to collapse as Idia begins to remember. Dream Ortho calls him, calling the Robot Ortho an imposter and appearing in Idia's bedroom to drag him down into darkness and a deeper sleep. Idia reawakens on his first day as House Warden and Robot Ortho forces his way into the dream to rescue him, but Robot Ortho's existence ensures that the dream cannot have a happy ending, so it begins to collapse due to the paradox. Idia is dragged by the darkness into the abyss, which has taken the form of the underworld, where he is welcomed by the dream phantom version of his dead brother. Idia.
Wow, that was a lot. Okay, so obviously Idia is in his ideal dream where his brother is alive, but obviously his brother is actually dead, and so the robot Ortho is trying to convince him, but then Malleus gets in the way and now it's about to collapse and everything's going downhill.
Dream Ortho assures him that what happened to him is not Idia's fault, saying he needs to stop blaming himself. Idia remembers and says he needs to go to help Robot Ortho. Dream Phantom Ortho refuses to let him leave as the ruler of the underworld, and Idia envisions himself as the strongest possible version of himself, which manifests as his overblot form. Idia escapes back into his earlier dream, which has restarted again, but this time he remembers. He says that his brother would never go to Royal Sword Academy and that his only little brothers are Robot Ortho at NRC and Phantom Ortho of the underworld, and that what counts as a happy ending is for him to decide. After Robot Ortho explains the situation, Idia reacts with shock that he as an innocent bystander has suffered the fate of his mother going through his computer, which she needed to do in order to build new gear for Robot Ortho. And Idia
so
swears revenge on Malleus for the slight. To be continued.
Poor Idia.
The group arrives in Epel's dream where Epel has...
That's the worst, where you didn't want anyone to see everything in your computer, and it ended up happening anyways, just because of an incident that wasn't even your fault.
Become disproportionately large due to his wish to grow big and strong while having a weak imagination, which Idia explains makes it likely that he will be easier to awaken. Ortho asks Epel when it was that he became taller than Vil, and the paradox nearly awakens Epel, but then darkness appears in the form of Vil and Rook, who distract from the logical paradox to keep Epel asleep. They flatter Epel for his appearance and muscles, and Grim reminds Epel about his promise from Book 5 to beat Nage with his charm and use what makes him unique, successfully awakening Epel. Epel says that the strength and brawn and beauty that he wants are for him to decide and claim for himself. They go to Rook's dream. Rook is a third-year Savannah Claw student instead of Vice House Warden of Pomfiore, and Vil is not House Warden but is instead attending Royal Sword Academy with Nage, who is his best friend instead of his rival. Epel explains what Vil did in Book 5 in response to losing out to Nage, which must have been a heartbreaking experience for Rook, to the point that he had been willing to drink the poison that Vil had made for Nage because he had been so devastated. In order to wake Rook up, the group recreates the dance they performed during the competition in Book 5, and Rook nearly awakens, but then the darkness appears in the forms of Vil and Nage, singing together the song that Nage performed in Book 5 and keeping Rook asleep. Epel calls him a bigger traitor now than he had been when he voted for Nage's team in the competition, successfully awakening Rook. The group takes
at least he remembers it now.
Vil is a beloved celebrity and Nage is his assistant, and Vil is about to receive a prestigious Best Actor award that Nage won in the real world at 14 years old. Rook says he is happy that Vil no longer has to suffer failure or jealousy, but his happiness has come at the cost of what he holds most dear, the spirit of tenacity that makes him who he is. Vil wins the award in his dream, and Rook reminds him of how he founded NRC's Film Research Club and of his performance in Book 5, which nearly awakens him. Dream Nage promises him success without effort, putting Vil into a deeper sleep. The group follows him into the darkness and find Nage unresponsive at NRC, having drank the poisoned apple juice that Rook took from him in Book 5. The darkness assures Vil that Nage had to withdraw due to a stomachache and their hard work has been rewarded, but Rook reminds him of how he said he would never forgive himself for trying to poison Nage. Rook reminds him of his sacrifice in Book 6 and Vil awakens. The dream begins to collapse and Vil is dragged into the abyss. Vil is confronted with the
And I gotta say though, I think Vil had probably the best dream though, out of all of them so far. I mean, sure, it's a fake dream, but at least, he gets to see a future where it could have been true, but not really, compared to the other ones.
Blotted version of himself wallowing in jealousy and blaming Nage for his ugliness. Vil says that his overblot was no one's fault but his own, and when the darkness insists that he hates Nage, Vil reflects on how he is so steeped in envy and resentment there is no beauty to be found, but he refuses to turn away from it and will accept it as part of himself. The dream
you go!
Crawl his way out together with his ugly desires, taking on his overblot form. Vil returns to the dream where he is being celebrated for his Best Actor award achievement, and he again poisons Nage, saying that he will be the one to decide who is the fairest in the land. Vil sends Rook and Epel back to their own dreams, joining Silver and the others as they move on to the next dream. To be
yes!
The group arrives in...
No wonder this one is really long because they're dream hopping everywhere.
Kalim's dream, where he is a second-year student at a magic school built by his own father. He calls on a veritable army of servants to prepare a party for the visitors, and Dream Jamil appears, calling Kalim his best friend. Jamil is also a second-year student at the new academy, is uncharacteristically friendly, and asks Kalim to fetch ice cream for the guests, surprising the group. Grimm reminds Kalim about Jamil sending them to the ends of the earth in Book 4, and the Dream Jamil uses his unique magic on Kalim to control him. Bill wakes up Kalim by reminding him of what Jamil is really like and of the VDC.
Exactly.
Admitting that Jamil has only ever been worried about him because he is Jamil's boss, not because he is his best friend. They move to Jamil's dream where no one
at least he's aware of that.
Gone. Sold after his family's business failed and bought by Jamil's father. Kalim's family now works as servants for Jamil's family, much like how Jamil's family works as servants for Kalim's family in reality. Jamil is student council president at the academy he attends in his dream. Kalim wakes Jamil up by reminding him about experiences in their childhood and the incident of Book 4. A dream Kalim promises Jamil that he will be a ruler forever with money, land, and freedom if he stays. Jamil is dragged into a deeper dream, which is a timeline where he successfully ousted Kalim from the position of house warden and sent him home. Jamil outlines a plan
that
to
is
get rid
not
of the other
good.
house wardens and Crowley to become the ruler of the school.
Okay, that's going too far, where he's trying to get everyone to be not house warden anymore. Now that's a little bit too much.
Kalim punches Jamil, telling him that a prize earned through dirty trickery isn't what Jamil really wants, and they get into a physical fight while Silver observes, sometimes a fist fueled by emotion is more effective than any words. Kalim observes that this is the first time they've fought in 17 years, and Jamil reminds him that if he beat Kalim up in reality it would spell disaster for him, and wakes up, asking himself how he could ever forget such a galling failure as when he failed to oust Kalim. The dream breaks down as Jamil's happy ending is compromised and Jamil dives to protect Kalim from being dragged into the abyss. Kalim tries to save Jamil and Jamil punches him to get him off before they are taken together, being dragged into the abyss alone. Jamil is
okay, of course that would
bemoaning how much
end
better
up
his life would
being
be if
the
Kalim were not
case.
here and he were free. Jamil comments on how pathetic he looks, and Dream Jamil blames his environment, his parents, and Kalim. But Jamil says he is the one who embarrassed himself by rushing in recklessly and botching everything. Dream Jamil insists that Kalim is the reason they are trapped and suffocating, but he could show them all if he stopped holding back, and Jamil says that his narrow-mindedness is actually what is robbing him of his freedom, but he accepts that Dream Jamil is himself. Dream Jamil says they are fated to be trapped and run ragged until someone sets them free, and Jamil says he does not want to trust his wish to someone else. He is done bemoaning his situation and feeling sorry for himself, and done ignoring his own desires and ambitions, transforming into his overblot form.
I guess somehow all of them end up transforming into the overblot form so that they can have enough power to get out of the situation. I mean, thankfully the dream, so it's not like they actually overblotted, right? So there's no problem with their actual bodies, I assume. Yeah? Hopefully, yes.
Jamil returns to the dream where Kalim is his servant and uses his unique magic to send the dream Kalim away forever, saying that he has no interest in freedom and power handed to him by someone else. Bill volunteers to return to his dream while Kalim has been too injured by Jamil to continue. Jamil joins Silver and the others as they move on to the next dream. To be continued.
Okay, next
The group arrives in
dream.
Floyd's dream, where he has become
There we
bored of
go.
succeeding at everything he attempts. He has traveled to the Shaftlands, Sunshine Lands, Scalding Sands, Sunset Savannah, Queendom of Roses and Briar Valley, becoming a successful model, a chef, and finding a genie in a lamp, but is now bored of the
Dang.
world. The group reminds
That's a
Floyd of his
lot of
failures.
things to do.
He starts to think that reality seems more interesting than his dream when Dream Jade and Dream Azul appear, saying that they will be together forever, which awakens Floyd. They move to Jade's dream where Jade is visiting an underwater volcano with Azul.
Why
and
does he
Floyd.
look like that?
Floyd says that he doesn't eat live shrimp, nearly awakening Jade, but Dream Floyd and Dream Azul convince him to stay asleep, and Jade agrees, saying they would be helpless without him. Floyd attacks Jade and Sebek interrupts with his unique magic, combined with Dream Azul calling him his precious subordinate, and Dream
Okay. Now it's going a little faster than I expected. So basically, why does Floyd look like that? Okay, so wait, whose dream is this? I'm getting confused. Okay, so it's
bored
Floyd.
of succeeding at everything he attempts. He has traveled to the Shaftlands,
Okay,
Sunshine Lands,
I remember
Scalding
that
Sands,
part.
Sunset Savannah, Queendom of Roses,
And then it
Briar
kind of
Valley,
like
becoming a
changed
successful
so
model,
weird
chef,
that I
and finding a
couldn't
genie in a
figure
lamp,
out
but
where
is
the
now bored with
transition
world.
is.
The group reminds Floyd of his failures. He starts to think that reality seems more interesting than his dream when Dream Jade and Dream Azul appear,
Okay, so Dream Jade and Dream Azul appear.
saying that they will be together forever, which awakens Floyd. They move
Okay, now we're going to Jade's dream. Okay.
to Jade's dream where Jade is visiting an underwater volcano with Azul and Floyd. Floyd says that he doesn't eat live shrimp, nearly awakening Jade, but Dream Floyd and Dream Azul
Dream Floyd. Why does Dream Azul look like that?
convince him to stay asleep, and Jade agrees, saying they would be helpless without him.
Floyd looks
Floyd attacks Jade,
hilarious.
and Sebek interrupts with his unique magic, combined with Dream Azul calling him his precious subordinate, and Dream Floyd asking him to never go anywhere again. This awakens Jade. They move to Azul's dream.
Thank goodness. Okay, so I like how he wanted Floyd and Azul to look like that, though. It's so funny.
Where Azul is a successful athlete, as he does not have a past that he wishes to erase, Azul invites the group to a party and humiliates them by having them wear anemones on their heads and laughing when they fall over one another while dancing. The twins begin tearing apart the venue, calling Azul pathetic and dull, which nearly awakens him. Mermaids of darkness assure him that they will be friends forever and that life is better under the sea. Azul agrees to never go on land and is dragged into a deeper dream, which is a timeline where Leona never destroyed Azul's contracts and he successfully acquired and burned the photo from the Atlantica Memorial Museum in Book 3. Jade and Floyd get rid of the dream versions of themselves and confront Azul with his contracts, reminding him of reality. They fight and Floyd deflects one of Azul's attacks onto his own contracts, destroying them. The dream breaks down as Azul's happy ending is compromised and Azul is met with the overblotted version of himself vowing to take everything.
I do like the fact that each one of them end up meeting their overblot self and essentially confronting their past selves and their actions and acknowledging what happened and trying to move forward.
Away from everyone who bullied him, Azul observes that the darkness Azul has become immobilized by the weight of the things he has stolen out of desperation to not return to how weak he used to be, but admits that they are the same and he also is vain and in denial of who he really is. Azul says that unlike the abyss version of himself, he has learned that one-sided exploitation ultimately leads to massive liabilities, and proper compensation and fair terms are where the real profits are, transforming into his overblot form. Azul returns to the dream where he is an accomplished athlete and distributes golden contracts for the mermaids of darkness to sign, with the fine print of, "I unconditionally surrender all my power to Azul and become his personal valet." Azul declares that he will be laying claim to far more valuable things, and he will be the one to set their price. Jamil, Floyd, and Jade return to their own dreams as the most injured members of the party. Azul joins Silver and the others as they move on to the next dream. To be continued.
So Azul joins this time.
The group arrives in Jack's dream where he is practicing with Savannah Claw for the Interdome Spell Drive tournament. Rather than plotting to take down Malleus off the field, Leona is passionate about training hard to challenge Malleus in a fair game on tournament day. The group challenges Savannah Claw to a Spell Drive practice game. Ortho intercepts the disc and Jack is so determined to prove the power of persistence, to play alongside Leona, that he chases Ortho into space. The logical fallacy successfully awakens Jack. They move to Ruggie's dream where Ruggie's father came home after becoming
that makes more sense.
Living in comfortable retirement. Ruggie himself is a beloved member of his community and model student at a Hyena Majority Academy established by Leona, a more popular prince than his brother, that provides free food to all who need it. Azul begins dropping coins, attracting Ruggie's attention. Azul throws a coin into a fountain, telling Ruggie to admit that he wants it more than anything, successfully awakening Ruggie. They move to Leona's dream where Leona has become king of
Of course he would think that way. It does make me sad though, because maybe if he did have that kind of benefit and life, then I do wonder what it would have been like for him.
Ruggie to admit that he wants it more than anything, successfully awakening Ruggie. They move to Leona's dream.
Okay, so now it's Leona's dream.
Struck country following the deaths of his family, having forced through the development of the land against the advice of experts, resulting in riots by the citizenry, including a dream version of Ruggie. Silver wonders why Leona is dreaming of failure despite the restrictions of Malleus's dream worlds, and the group guesses that he intentionally set himself up to fail for a guilty pleasure similar to sneaking midnight snacks, but instead he reformed an entire nation. In order to dethrone Leona within his own dream, they generate a hologram of Cheka, but Leona is not.
Now I know what you guys mean when you said that. You can kind of see like parallel universe of what would have been like if he actually did go through with his plans without having enough knowledge about it. And now we get to see it here.
Fooled, Ruggie is saved from Leona by Kafaji, a figment of Leona's own mind that seems to know Leona is asleep. Leona is dragged into a deeper dream by palace guards who assure him that they are his only true friends. The new dream is a timeline where the Savannah Claw plot to injure Malleus in Book 2 was a success. The group confronts Leona with the failure of his plan and Leona nearly awakens from the deja vu. The group fights off the darkness and Jack tells Leona to remember who he is, successfully awakening Leona.
Oh, thank goodness he remembered.
Ending is compromised and Leona is met with the overblotted version of himself bemoaning that his brother and nephew will become king without ever needing to try. Leona calls his dream version pitiful, says that he is pathetically desperate for recognition despite how he looks down on others. He cannot stand the sight of it, but it is him. The dream Leona turns into a haggard old lion and encourages Leona to stay with it, but Leona refuses, accepting that it will stay deep inside of him, always wanting to be king, and saying that he will give it a throne and pride to call his own one day. Leona returns to his previous dream.
That makes me happy to hear.
Applauds him for realizing that he is in a dream. Leona says that he is not Dream Kafaji's king and dismisses him. Dream Kafaji tells Leona to go back to where he belongs and Leona says that where he belongs and how he lives are for him to decide. Azul, Ruggie, and Jack return to their own dreams as the most injured members of the party. Leona joins Silver and the others as they move on to the next dream.
Okay, so it's like kind of like a handoff.
The group
at
arrives
this
in
point.
Deuce's dream where the dorms are gangs locked in non-stop battles over turf within the school. They go to defend the library from other students using blank books as weapons. As Deuce has not read any of the books, he cannot imagine their content. Seba confronts Deuce for not being a true honor student.
Wait, whose dream is this? My gosh, it goes so fast. I sometimes feel okay. So it's Deuce's dream, and Deuce is an honor student. Okay, Well, if you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit the like and subscribe and share my video with a friend to spread the fun.
Deuce's dream,
Back
where
to
the
the
dwarves are gangs
video.
locked in non-stop battles over turf within the school. They go to defend the library from other students using blank books as weapons. As Deuce has not read any of the books, he cannot imagine their content. Sebek confronts Deuce for not being a true honor student. Dream Ace tries to convince Deuce that everything makes sense. Grim points out that Ace is never that nice to Deuce, successfully awakening him.
Ace is never that nice to Deuce. Well, I guess that would be a good way to wake up.
They move to Cater's dream, where he is house warden.
Cater.
Azul is having a trial for a student accused of annoying Cater. Cater asks Riddle to take off the student's head, but Trey interrupts to suggest they hear from witnesses. They call on the prefect, Grim, Leona, and Silver, and realize that it is Cater's unbirthday, leading to the launching of an unbirthday party. Trey prepares spicy food while Riddle DJs. Deuce wonders if Cater has an issue with Riddle, and Leona says he probably does, telling Deuce how Heartslobule before Riddle was a rundown dump where anarchy reigned. Leona and Idia suggest that
Anarchy reigned?
Riddle as an impressionable king whom they would be able to control. Trey, Riddle, Ace, and Cater start encouraging the group to eat and drink at the party, revealing that all of them, including Cater, are darkness. It is revealed that Cater was never Cater but a clone made from his own unique magic. Ortho wonders if they were fooled because Cater views himself objectively even in his dreams. The real Cater appears and Dream Riddle tries to protect him. Trey tells Cater that he will handle everything on Cater's behalf, successfully awakening Cater. Cater saves Grim and Deuce from Dream Riddle's unique magic and defeats the darkness. Dream Riddle calls him House Warden and Dream Trey asks him not to leave them, which Cater says they would never say. Deuce approaches Cater about
Wow, I guess Cater is actually quite powerful mentally to, be able to objectively view things to the point that he doesn't get swayed by things like this.
being unhappy in Heartslobule, but Cater assures him he is not interested in taking the House Warden spot from Riddle and he would probably lose if he tried. Cater insists that he and Trey would never take advantage of younger students and Leona is unconvinced, but Deuce decides to believe in Cater. Cater privately wonders why he had such a dream, while assuring Silver that he is already over it. He asks Silver to keep it a secret from Riddle. They move on to the next dream. To be continued.
It's interesting that he had that kind of dream and questions why he had it. I wonder if that's considered an outlier and if it will have some level of importance to a degree later down the road.
The group arrives in Ace's dream, but Ace isn't interested in awakening. Cater attacks him to summon darkness and prove to Ace that he is asleep, and Ace admits that he is afraid of Malleus. Cater quotes a line Ace said to him in Book 1 back to him, and Ace agrees to awaken. They move to Trey's dream, where Chinna is
Ace is so good at knowing.
Cater and Riddle are very large. Trey says watching them eat makes him feel nauseous, and he awakens. They move to Riddle's dream, where he is magicless, born to magicless parents and never goes to school because he hates it. He becomes enraged and traps the group in a house of darkness that begins to fill with tea. They begin to shrink.
Oh,
It begins to rain
jeez.
in the world of his own dream, Idia is visited by Malleus while Ortho loses contact with Idia. In a deeper level of Riddle's dream, Riddle is happy because he is correct, respected, feared and loved. Darkness goes in pursuit of the group and they separate, being picked off one by one until only Ace,
Oh, no.
Deuce, Ortho, Grim and the Prefect remain. They decide to attack Riddle with Deuce's unique magic, with Ortho acting as his shield. Riddle attacks them, Ace intervenes with his unique magic, Deuce attacks Riddle, Riddle awakens. The dream collapses and Riddle is confronted by the overblotted version of
Okay,
himself,
now it's
asking why no one will
Riddle's
follow him.
turn.
He says it is
I think
because
that's the
he makes
last
no
one,
effort to
right?
listen to those around him, turns into his
For
overblotted form
the
himself
ones
and
that
defeats
had the
darkness.
dream?
He awakens in his previous dream and defeats the darkness that has been impersonating his mother, causing the dream to collapse again and sending him into Idia's bedroom, where Malleus is trying to break down the door. To be continued.
Oh,
Lilia
so Malleus
explains,
still isn't
A
there.
century ago, it was one little
this is the
sailboat that
Fae
came
human
ashore
war.
at Cape Sunrise, but their population multiplied faster than you can blink, until they started outnumbering the Fae who live here. When Sebek asks if everything east of Briarland's Howling Canyon is ironclad territory, Bauer explains, it is not their territory. This whole continent rightfully belongs to the Fae. They simply moved in and started expanding their area of influence.
Of course, that's what
We are never
happens.
told why it is that ironclads appeared.
So in that case, the Fae are the true, what is it? People that lived there from the beginning, and then humans are the invaders that took over things without really considering the native people that
Briarland,
lived there
where
already.
they came from or what they were hoping to accomplish. Soldiers explain, they come from a foreign land and cut down our forests, lay waste to our mountains, and plunder our resources. With the mountains stripped bare, the dire beasts deprive.
It's so strange how slow it is. All of a sudden, it makes me want to check if it's normal. Okay, so it is normal. I'm so used to it being so fast that it feels weird for it to suddenly be
Their
slower.
habitats go into villages and cause mayhem. We see this in the game, with townsfolk begging Lilia's soldiers for help as dire beasts tear through their food, chased from their homes by ironclads. The soldier explains, the Fae have suffered immeasurable damage because of them. Lilia says, if they respected animals and nature and lived modestly, we could leave them be, but we
But then
cannot
because
let them
they
tear up any
want
more of our
so
mountains
many
and forests.
resources out of
Also
greediness.
seen in the game, a fairy begs Lilia to punish the ironclads for what they've done, saying, my fields are ruined, and right after we tilled them. My family wasn't enough, they had to trample all over my memories as well. Please, You have to punish the ironclads. My family and fields are all gone because of them. A river polluted
terrible.
by ironclads to the point that it is uninhabitable for water ferries is also shown. The ironclad leader Henrik says that he tried many a time to negotiate with Briarland in good faith, and the Fae made a mockery of their efforts, but Lilia says he only visited the castle once, where he presented a list of demands. Princess Maleanor did not speak with them. Sebek exclaims, he dared to bring demands when his men are the ones repeatedly damaging Briarland? The audacity.
Yeah.
The ironclads besiege Maleanor's castle, demanding that she give up her home and her magestone to them. The Fae side is supported by various Fae of Briarland who heal their wounds and ask Lilia to save the princess, children who say they also want to protect their home, families, friends, and the princess, and Fae
This is also really sad though.
They can. The
when you think about it.
side is supported by people from other lands who also covet Briarland's resources, and or hired mercenaries, including mages. The Ironclads challenge Maleanor to a duel, saying, not that either choice will end in anything but our victory, but then declaring that it is actually Maleanor who has given them no choice but to fight. The princess dies protecting her unborn child and the Ironclads win, ending the great nation of Briarland and reducing it to Briar Valley, and taking over what was once Fae territory for themselves. Lilia says he fears that the Fae will become relics of the past, will be forgotten and regarded as creatures from storybooks.
But unsurprising considering
Briar Valley speakers of the Fae languages have become somewhat rare, but it seems the Ironclad victory was short-lived. Lilia explains that, after the Ironclads took over Maleanor's castle, changing its name to Bladevale, an endless series of wars broke out over resources and land, and they lost to others the same castle that they'd killed Maleanor to take for themselves.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense as to
Idia
why.
gives Riddle multiple manuals to memorize.
Oh, all of a sudden it was like suddenly fast. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see.
Riddle multiple manuals to memorize in order to learn enough programming to patch the barrier being damaged by Malleus's attempts to reach them.
Okay, so at least Idia has Riddle there, and you know, to help him out. That makes it a little better.
Riddle buys Idia enough time for Idia to finish his secret weapon, which traps Malleus like a gotcha character.
Gotcha.
In a mobile game, Idia summons the rest of the characters, minus Lilia, equipping Riddle, Leona, Azul, Jamil, and Vil with special equipment that makes them the most powerful version of themselves, their overblot forms. All members of every dorm, minus Diasomnia, do battle against Malleus, who then shuts down his arcane realm and the dream worlds within and transforms into a dragon to do battle with the students in the real world. Idia
a
shield and sword made from Lilia's mage arm to Silver and Sebek, who nearly lose to Malleus's power, saved by Lilia, while Idia strikes Malleus's right horn with the mage stone sword. In a flashback we see that Malleus was given 3 blessings from the Briar Valley Senate, the power to triumph over all, a voice that will make everyone submit to him, and time that never expires, and we see a scene of child Malleus causing Lilia's ears to bleed through his laughter. Malleus reflects on how he does not know how to laugh with others, to touch or be touched, and he wants to be allowed to feel emotions. With the blessings he has been given actually being a curse. Malleus sees a vision of Lilia saying that it is time for him to go and wakes up to a broken horn and himself having killed Lilia on accident.
Oh. You know, the more I learn about the Senate, the more I just want to smack them in their face and beat them up. Why would they do that to him?
Has been given actually being a curse. Malleus sees a vision of Lilia saying that it is time for him to go and wakes up to a broken horn and himself having killed Lilia on accident, but he can no longer summon enough magic to heal Lilia's wounds. In the same way that Lilia begged for Malleus to live in exchange for his own life, Malleus begs his parents not to take Lilia in exchange for anything he has to give, including his remaining lifespan. Malleus's broken horn begins to discharge the magic it has accumulated with Silver's ring resonating with it. Silver and Malleus come together to wish for Lilia to come back to life, and he does. In the aftermath, Malleus is designated.
Wait, so Lilia actually did die at that moment? Lilia, you should go through a lot of stuff at this point.
As a living disaster, but both he and Lilia are able to return to NRC. Malleus invites the students to his mother's castle and designates Silver and Sebek as Knights of Briar Valley. Silver donates his armor instead of keeping it for himself, and Malleus offers him anything else he may want, as it is also his 18th birthday, and Silver asks to be made Lilia's true son, which Malleus grants. Malleus and Lilia combine their magic to conjure memories of the throne room of Maleanor's castle. Malleus thanks the apparition of his mother for not taking Lilia away, and Silver also thanks his own parents. To be continued.
I guess, so I'm surprised that he doesn't really feel, I mean, then again, it's not like his parents did anything wrong. They were unfortunately having to listen to a horrible leader and then put in a position where they can't really say no. And then after that, it's total death from the war or whatnot, which I feel so bad for. Man. Anyways, that was a very interesting thing or the entire book 7 was a lot. I can see why it was long because it's all the dream hopping, but you also get a lot of lore about Lilia and the others, actually, which I found to be very fascinating. But if you want to see more videos like this one, then be sure to click on the playlist right here on the screen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!